chaps, we are here this morning with Mark, who kind of we got in contact through our website, didn't you? Found our details and reached out, and we've been having some conversations about doing some stuff together, which are pretty exciting, which we'll probably cover a little bit further down the line. But you were really open about your struggles and what you've kind of had some challenges with, and even off air, and obviously I appreciate you're anxious, and this is really important stuff to you. So just be honest, because there's people out there that'll be feeling the same stuff as what you are. And I think a good starting point would be like, tell me about why you've got this chap in the background and who that is.
Yeah, the guy in the back is my good friend Stuart Livermore. He passed away in October last year. He was 48, same age as me. 3 lovely young children and a partner, Kelly. And he was a really, really good friend, to me. And he'd done so much work for other people. He'd always put other people first. He was one of them friends that would, if you rang him and you needed him, he'd be there within seconds, like no matter what it was. And I respected him massively. So when he passed away suddenly in October, it kind of struck a chord in me. I thought all the good things he's done in his life, and I looked at myself and I thought I haven't really done anything. Like I've never really put myself out there or spoke about things that I kind of deal with on a daily basis, and I've never helped anyone else really when I could have done, because I've had conversations with people that have said, look, I'm struggling with mental health, with depression and stuff like that, and I've listened to them and gone along and said, oh yeah, do this, but I've never turned around and said, yeah, actually I've struggled with that since I was 18 years old, and I deal with that pretty much every single day, to a certain degree. I've never had the courage to actually come out and say that to my closest friends, even my partner Emma. Only recently have I started opening up a little bit, and I've been with her for 25 years.
Wow.
I'd kind of just hide everything away to myself. If I was going through like low moments, like I have done since I was young, I'd just battle through it. I wouldn't say nothing to anybody. I'd literally just try and deal with it myself in my own head, which you can imagine is quite a chaotic place at times. So I'd never spoke about it really. I started speaking about it a couple of years ago with a close friend of mine, Chelsea, and she helped me kind of open up a little bit and see that struggling with depression, even social anxiety to a certain degree, is like nothing to be ashamed of really. And she helped me open up a little bit. So obviously going back to Stuart, after what happened with Stuart, I just made a decision at the beginning of this year. I was going to do something, and I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do, but I did have a search on Google for a men's mental health charity, because I kind of thought that's something that I suffer with. I know a lot of people that suffer with it, and as men we struggle to talk about it. Let's be honest. It's not something you bring up down the path. Oh yeah, I'm really struggling with my mental health. We just don't really. I don't think I've ever had that conversation really. So I looked on Google, found the MANUP charity page dealing with men's mental health, read the stories on there about Keith and the Prodigy, and it just felt right, you know. And you look at something and you think, yeah, that feels right. I want to get involved with that. I want to do something. So that's why I contacted you and said, look, I'm with this organisation, AFTAL. We do lots of signings with various different celebrities and whatnot. I think it's something we can do to help spread awareness, promote men's mental health and the MANUP charity. And to be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to doing it. I'm really looking forward to setting things up and having some conversations with maybe some people in the public eye that wouldn't normally talk about stuff like this. And
yeah,
so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. And I mean, appreciate you for coming on, because like I know how difficult it is for people to talk about this stuff, and especially like you said, you've only recently started opening up to your partner about this stuff, to kind of sit down in front of a guy that we've had 3 meetings with, and talk about this stuff's incredibly powerful, because you've hit the nail bang on the head there, that we just don't talk about this stuff enough as men. Like we kind of put it to one side, compartmentalize it. So like, what was the catalyst? Like, what was the turning point for you? I mean, first of all, to kind of open up with Chelsea, and then secondly, you think, actually, I need to kind of take a bigger step and come and have a chat with MANUP?
I just think when I started speaking to Chelsea, I'd spent so long holding. It was kind of like this big dirty secret that no one knew about. Like I've been on antidepressants for like 4 or 5 years, on and off for 20 years, and I'd hide them. No one knew I took them. I'd hide them in my car, in the boot of my car, so no one would see them. Like my partner, no one knew. My mum and dad, no one at all. And when I started speaking to her about it and saying, look, because she obviously she would see the different moods that I'd be in sometimes, and she'd mention, oh, you're feeling all right today, and then it just got me talking about actually how I felt that day, which something I'd never really done in the past. If you was having a bad day, you just crack on and get on with your work and everything else. But then we started having little conversations. She'd say to me, oh, I've had a shit day today, I feel terrible today, and then we chat about that. So the more we talked about it, the more I suddenly thought, well, yeah, I mean, really, I can start talking about this stuff with her, because I feel quite comfortable. So I did start opening up on certain things, not absolutely everything, because that's still quite raw for me, even with people I'm really, really comfortable with. And I said to her, like, I want to kind of not hide this from my partner, Emma, anymore. I want to actually be able to talk about it. But I felt so embarrassed about it, if I'm honest. I was like, because I've always been seen as, I'd say, probably a strong person, quite a sort of happy person, which was kind of my public sort of mask I'd put on. So yeah, I just literally had that conversation with her, and I said, look, I want to start telling that. And she was like, well, why don't you just tell her? And the more we talked about it, I kind of thought, yeah, maybe I should eventually. But it wasn't easy. Like I think around lockdown, I really started, as everyone did. Like lockdown was bad for me. I had to shut everything off work-wise. I was just sitting there day in, day out. I even got bought a PlayStation and started playing FIFA. I felt like I was 18 again. Done that, completed FIFA in like 3 or 4 weeks. Then I had nothing to do. Watched endless films in different languages. And yeah, I really started struggling. I was like, I don't know what to do. I felt completely trapped. Obviously, we couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. Like even going out for a drive down the road, you felt like you'd done something wrong. You wasn't meant to be out the front door. So it all started getting much worse from there for me. And yeah, I've lost myself. Sorry.
It's all right, not a problem. Like I mean, like you said, lockdown was a really tough time for a lot of people, and I think certainly if you kind of struggle with your mental health, and all of a sudden the stuff that helps you kind of through that, going to see your friends, spending time with your family, going down the beer with it, going to work, and all that stuff's taken away, it just amplifies it. And we've heard from a lot of people that have been in exactly the same position, and it was a tough time for a lot of people. I'm not taking anything away from what you've gone through, absolutely not at all, mate. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like,
of course,
I get it, and there'll be people watching this that have been exactly the same, and there'll be people that are watching this that have kind of, lockdown might be the catalyst for this to say, actually, this is something I need to redress now. So do you feel like in some ways lockdown was that point where you thought, I need to kind of start being more open and start talking about this stuff? Because I mean, you said you're with your partner for 20 odd years. Like she was obviously with you at that point. So is that when you started talking to her about it?
I think it was actually after lockdown. I might have mentioned the odd thing here and there, but nothing in great detail. I mean, she could tell that I weren't in the best of places. I was struggling a bit with being kind of like, it felt like a prison sentence. You're just sitting there and I couldn't go to work, couldn't do anything. So she could see that I was struggling to a certain degree, and I started having initial conversations with her, but it was after lockdown that I really started. When we come back to like doing the normal things we used to do before lockdown, that's when I started thinking, right, that was horrible. I don't want to go through that again. Let's start having some conversations, because obviously I'd spoken to like many of my friends during lockdown and after lockdown, and everyone was struggling bad. Like it was not like one or two people. Everybody, like, because it was like everyone was doing a prison sentence. If you couldn't go out to work, you couldn't see your friends. You're just stuck there in a room watching. I mean, I started watching Loose Women. Like, what is all that about? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not fun at the best of times anyway, isn't it? But like, just that, you just want that distraction, don't you? You just want to like kind of come out of your own thoughts and just switch off for like 10, 20 minutes or whatever it is.
Literally, yeah. I mean, I think I exhausted the entire catalogue of Netflix films within 5-6 weeks. Like, and then you kind of run out of things to do. Like at first it was great. I thought, oh, this is all right. 2 weeks, we'll be back. But then obviously realization this was going to go on for a long time, and that's when I started thinking, oh no, like.
Well, everybody thought though, didn't we? Like we all kind of thought like a couple of weeks and we'll be back to normal. And then it was like, oh, it'll be a couple of months, and then like all of a sudden you kind of like every day just blurs into each other because every day's the same. You're doing the same stuff, and like even now, I probably couldn't tell you when it started and when it ended. I couldn't tell you the amount of time because it was just everything was just in cycle and repetitive, like you said, like being in jail where everything's just the same every flipping day.
Yeah, no, that's it. It was real tough for everybody. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back through that again.
Yeah. So when you were kind of talking with your groups of friends and stuff during that point in time, I guess it was from your perspective, it was easy to kind of almost mask it and say, no, it's just lockdown why I'm feeling so down and all that kind of stuff. And even at that point, when you're talking about how tough it was and how difficult it was, did those conversations help bring some stuff out of you or not?
Little bits would come out, like little bits, but never the full picture. Like I wouldn't turn around and say, actually, I've actually been struggling with feeling low and different things since I was 18. Like I'd never say that. I would, like you say, I would just say, yeah, it's because of lockdown. Lockdown's made me feel like this. So I blame everything on lockdown. When that was complete and utter nonsense. It was something that had been going on for pretty much half my lifetime.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I had very, very brief conversations with a few friends, but nothing really about how I dealt with things in the past. It was all about lockdown. Yeah.
So how do you manage it now, and how do you kind of stay on top? And obviously there's going to be times when you can't, right? I completely get that, 100%. Like are you a little bit more proactive with this stuff, or are things that you do that can kind of stop you? Does your partner help? Like talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, my partner Emma's been great. Now we start talking about it, and I think she should work in mental health because she's so good with it, and she always wants to help others as well. So now I've started talking with her, it's kind of taken away that horrible secret of that I was ashamed to admit for all them years. And I can have, I'm not saying it's easy, but I can have conversations with her now about certain things. I'm still never going to go to her and say, I feel absolutely terrible today. Like I feel so low. Like I still won't do that because it's not in me to do that. I just have, there's kind of a barrier that'll stop me doing that. Because it's not something, I don't want all the attention on me. Like, oh, look at me, I feel low, feel sorry for me. Like I don't want that. Like I want to look after her, my son, and our dog Rosie. And So I want to be seen as you kind of want to be seen as the strong person that takes care of everything,
Yeah.
which is what I tried to be, that person. And I still, that's what frustrates me, because I still feel like that strong person. But when I go through like low moods, or I start struggling with certain things, it kind of strips me of that. And
But
then I don't feel,
are you not stronger because you do talk about that stuff? Like, because you can kind of be
yeah.
open about your feelings. Like, how old's your son?
My son is 12.
So we've got kids kind of just a couple of years ahead of them, and like, what's amazed me is how much they already talk about this stuff. Like, as a generation, like they'll talk about like feelings and thoughts and like how they're feeling today, and like we regularly check in with them, and you probably do the same. But like, generationally, they're going to be very different in dealing with this kind of thing, I think. But like, and I think that's a part of the perception. What I was getting at is, like, we're almost still seen as being weak if we kind of show our emotions and stuff, you know. And there's parts of society that will never change, right? And
No, that's it.
we probably know those parts of society very well, and we've got friends at work or live certain ways that will never open up about this stuff. But like,
Yeah,
I think it takes incredible strength, and my partner's struggled significantly. And there was a phrase that I read sometime and said, like, it's not that you're weak at all when you go through this, is because it's that you've been strong for so long that it just becomes such a heavy burden. And I
yeah,
think that's really powerful.
yeah,
But
yeah,
and that's something that you're probably always going to contend with, if you like, you know. It's because as
yeah.
men, we're just not how we're wired. Do you know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, it's impossible to change. It's impossible, I find, for me to be comfortable talking about stuff like that. I mean, I can talk about it, but I don't feel comfortable. Like I'm talking to you now, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
But I'm doing it. But I'm never going to sit there and go, oh yeah, and just be like really comfortable talking about something so personal. But
yeah,
it kind of it kind of gets easier the more you talk about it. I'm finding that out now.
mm,
Whereas for 20, whatever it's been, 25 years or whatever, I've kind of dealt with it by myself. Obviously, I've been to the doctors and said, look, I'm struggling, and they'd give you various different courses to go on, or people to talk to you over the phone. And I think I could never really relate to anything like that, and it
yeah.
never helped me at all.
They haven't. None of that stuff's helped.
No,
No.
no, none of them. But then that's probably a lot to do with me. I don't think I properly opened up with everything when I've spoken to these people. And a
What
lot of the
was?
time it's on the phone, and
Yeah.
so it's hard to build up any kind of rapport or relationship with someone you're speaking to on the phone. So yeah,
Well, this is one of
it's
the things that we've talked about as well. Like, we've talked about, I had a conversation about this last week, me and another couple of trustees, and actually, you've got to be in the right place to be able to openly accept that kind of particular therapy. Like, you might have tried it once and it might not have worked for you, but it might work second time because you were just in a different frame of mind, you know. And it's like,
yeah,
and again, it's hard. Like, and my point was, like, you try all this different stuff, and if 99% of the stuff you tried hasn't worked, how do you know that 1% isn't the thing that makes a difference? But at the same time,
yeah,
if 99% of it hasn't worked, why would you want to just try again? You know, it's a real battle to kind of figure that out.
yeah, yeah. That's it. It's not an easy thing for me personally to kind of deal with and manage. But I must admit, the last few months, especially like when I've got this focus now, like with doing something from Man Up, and a few other little things that I'm going to be doing. I've started. I need that focus. I need them positive things around me to keep my
Yeah,
mind active and positive. If I sit there doing nothing, watching telly for 2-3 weeks, which occasionally I'll do, then that's not good for me at all. I need that mental stimulation. I need to have positive things and exciting things to do and look forward to, and that's the best sort of therapy for me, I find, is
yeah,
keeping my brain active with good positive things in business and in life, and with my friends, and that helps me more than any therapist that I've seen, if I'm honest with you.
But that's got, like, a lot of it's got to come within, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Like, those positive influences are massive.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
there's always going to be curveballs, and Dan talks about this. He says that actually, I can't remember the exact phrase, but it's along the lines of like, this is something that you manage for a while, but like even just talking to you now, it's clear to see what have the positive impact that you're changing your body language, and like as soon as you start talking about the positive stuff, that and some purpose being a key word for it, right? Because a lot of men need that purpose. Your whole kind of demeanor changed, and we're incredibly grateful for you reaching out to us and saying that you want to be involved and to help us, because the positive impact this will have on other people is going to be pretty big. The positive impact this will hopefully have on you will hopefully be big, and like we're happy to support you and help you and kind of be on this journey with you.
I'm looking forward to doing something, and I think it kind of feels like the right time. Like a lot more people since lockdown, I think, have started speaking about male mental health, whereas before lockdown, I can't really remember too much. I mean, there might have been, but since lockdown, I seem to see it more on television, and like even on TV programs, they'll talk about men going through like anxiety, depression, stuff like that. So I think it's definitely started to turn in that respect, like, and it's not so stigmatized. It's not so something to be ashamed of. I don't find now. I mean, obviously, it's going to take time, but I definitely feel like it's the more people coming out and speak about it, and the more honest everyone is, I think it's going to get easier for people to talk about it, and hopefully with MANUP and us helping MANUP, we can spread the message even further, get more people talking about it, and just make it easier for normal people, everyday lads like myself, that I've never talked about stuff like this, and now they'll think that I can do that. Like if someone's held that together for 25 years without talking about it, like myself, and then now at the age of 48 has decided to come out and give it a go and start talking about it, then someone that at the age of 20 that's struggling can do that from the start. Someone at the age 55, 60 that have struggled with it all their years, they can do it. It's literally never too late to come out and talk about these things, I don't think now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to helping any way I can with MANUP. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to encourage people to have these conversations. And what I love about everybody we interview's got a different story. Everybody we look interviews got different challenges, but somebody out there will watch us and they'll be in a similar position to you, or they'll relate to certain points of it. And that's what we need to do. We need to have these conversations, have these difficult conversations, keep them open and help. And sometimes just watching a couple of videos, like we've had countless messages from someone said I was in a really difficult spot and came across your website, started looking, similar to what you've just said, like you came across the website, started looking at stuff, and it's just, you realize you're not alone. You realize there's a community out there and people out there that can help and support you, and that's massive.
Yeah,
it's
definitely,
huge.
yeah. Definitely.
Right, Mark, I'm conscious of time, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and being so open about this stuff. And obviously there's times when this has been really uncomfortable for you, but we appreciate you kind of coming on and sharing it, because there'll be people that'll benefit from this conversation in some ways over the next few days, and maybe straight away, hopefully this has benefited you coming to talk to somebody as well, and talking about your pal who kind of spurred you on and kind of help you move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good man. Let me just stop the record button. 2 seconds.